Okay, where were we? So,
Switching between threads, and I think we came to the end conclusion that text that is currently on the commit and the thread ID,
yeah,
um, we can use that real estate depending on what's useful to
yeah,
the person using it. Yeah.
yep, sure thing. Okay, doke. So,
And then we've got the button to go back to Backchat if you happen to be South African. It doesn't pick it up. Although there are ways we could probably prompt it. Well, certainly prompt it to figure that one out.
I think we want to get to the stage where we actually have some intelligence that interprets it, and then that would cover us from all those kinds of things.
Yeah,
Um,
because that was something that was your goal in the last call, which is like need a Backchat bot. But actually, all we talked about was commands, which is fine because we need to run those to ground. But I do think there should be some kind of prompting.
yeah, there should be.
Give it give it a bit of a, you know.
Yeah. Okay, but anyway, it's a little buggy and it's a little sort of clunky, but this is the essence of Backchat. Um,
So now, forgive me if this is still to come and so on, but
mm,
as an example, um, I've got a how and want to create a system prompt. How does all that stuff? And there's the system prompt. And I'm saying save the last system prompt and then open an agent using that system prompt. Is that possible yet? Or should I
Not
start
yet
again?
very close. Not yet very close. So what you need to be able to do that is the ability to save a file like save a file to the parent
Yeah,
branch.
because all the files are per session. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's I mean that's something we've been aiming for months now. So it's I think that's very close, like a couple of days type of thing. It's really just
Right.
I'm really just at the stage of like fiddling around with all the little. There's actually quite a bit happening here, but it's just a case of like jiggling it, fitting it
Yeah.
in just right so that it all kind of
Well,
works together nicely.
I'm actually running out of ways to like improve this, and they're all getting into the fuzzy area. So, for example, right in this session or in this backchat session, can
Mm.
you list all your agents, all your threads?
Uh,
Yeah.
no,
Is that it?
I haven't built that function yet,
Okay.
but that I will. Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah. No, what I was going to say, the reason I was saying that is probably by default it would list them by thread ID.
It should
It would
list them
be
by title, right?
yeah,
That's what
or
you're gonna get to.
either title or current topic, because some of these threads could get really large. I think it'd be reasonable to do in times of as the last topic that it's put in the bottom
Mm-hmm.
where the commit is.
Mm-hmm.
That would be what you displayed as a thread. It's like this thread is talking about this, something like that.
So when I go list my threads, you'd expect a list of threads by topic,
Right, and that
right?
topic being dynamic in exactly the same.
Dynamically generated. It's the thing that
Yes,
got generated down here, right?
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
Okay. Yep. That sounds pretty easy to do, actually.
Yeah, cool. Do you want a bot to summarize, or
Sure.
you happy to do that? Do that.
Yeah. If you just start one, what do you want to call it?
Summary bot.
Some summation.
Summation.
Samaritan. Okay. So
Yeah. And I can. I'll keep that really small.
what's it called?
But
The summary
some
agent.
summary? It's not really a summary. It's your
Summarizer.
the topic, isn't it? It's the topic bot.
The topicizer. Topication. Topicizer.
Yeah.
The topicer.
Yeah. It's, I don't know. It looks like two pricer.
Two piecer.
Yeah.
Topic.
You were better when you were topicer.
Topics. The topics agent.
Topics. There you go. Topics. Yeah. Or topic.
The topic agent.
Yeah, because it's doing one topic at a time.
Okay, and then I'll give you the front meta.
Yep.
And how would you call it? You would want to.
Yeah, I would say is.
What commands does it want?
Well, what does it? How is it going to be called? This is a backchat function, isn't it?
It's
that you open a prompt or you add into a prompt.
Yeah, so it's not a thread because it doesn't have any interaction with the human.
Yep, that's right.
So it's strictly speaking, like it is an agent and it isn't it's an agent, but what's the name for an agent that runs in a thread that has no human interaction?
Well, previously we were calling those drones.
Okay, so this is a drone.
Yeah. And what you want to do is you don't want to run, if we get a really big session prompt, you don't want to get it to try and figure out a topic from everything, because you might be pinging backwards and forwards and so on.
All right, so what I'll store in the thread then is I'll store when the topic ran. No, because I really want to run it every time every time something new gets added to the thread. I want to run the topic tool. Yeah. But I don't want to run it on the entire session. But
right. But here's a thought. Do you store timestamps on prompts?
I don't, but I can. I was lining up to store commits on prompt, and from commits I can also get time. So
okay. What I'd expect, and this is just a start for 10, is my time as a human is much slower, and so if I go in and talk, what it should do is take everything I've been talking about every time I do a new prompt. Say okay, let me go back a bit. Say if there's a session that I've been bouncing in and out of over a week. Now my actual screen time on that agent is probably an hour. And so the next time I go in, I'd expect it to summarize the previous summary. Consider the previous summary, but not the whole session. And then everything I said after that, I would want it to update. If that makes sense.
I know what you mean.
Yeah, because there is, it's a bit like a vector store for the brain, isn't it? The thing I'm talking to you about now is the thing that is the topic. But it shouldn't be completely divorced from everything else. So you should take in the previous topic from the previous commit, or let's say timestamps. Let's say if I was working on it yesterday and I got to a topic, now I'm talking about today, it should take that topic in and then update using only that topic and everything I've said today, but not consider the wealth of stuff in the whole session. That seems reasonable, maybe. I don't know. But,
I think that either way it's going to be configurable, so you should be able to. So I'll give you you'll need the command thread read. So that would be read in a. And then what you choose to do.
Simon, can you give me 2 seconds?
Yeah, sure.
Yep. Okay.
Hey, all right. So, how you want to process that as a formula is kind of not my business. I just want to give you the ability to you can make it up however you want. You might do
Yeah. Okay.
something like you'll be like, if there's an existing topic, take that topic plus the last 10 messages,
Yeah.
or
Okay. I guess the underlying thing is given a whole session, which could be infinite. Well, it's not going to be infinite, but it could be exceptionally large.
hmm,
What we don't want is every time you type in something, it needs to go back and go through that entire session to figure out what the new topic is.
yeah, I
There
know.
is a way of chunking it.
Yeah. So I
There's
think
various ways of
the
chunking it.
most intelligent way is that it looks at the current topic and it looks at what the user just typed and it makes a decision, yes or no, if it needs to update the topic.
Well, that
And then
that
it,
can be done.
and then
Yeah,
you
yeah.
just keep
That's
getting
we've
bigger
done that
and bigger
before.
and bigger up until like there's enough information that's coming from the user where it's like, yep, time to change the topic, and then it regenerates it.
Yeah, yeah. I think that would work. We've done context switching. We've talked about it's fairly small
These
prompt.
bots are good at it anyway.
Yeah.
They're very natural at it. Okay, and then that will mean that the topic, that there'll be a title and a summary.
Yep.
The title will be used to display everywhere to the user. It's effectively the file name of the thread.
Oh, that's an interesting. You split those into two. I hadn't thought of that.
Well, summary
That's
is longer.
possibly.
Summary is longer,
Yeah.
and summary is used to look it up. The title's not
It's
enough to.
possibly when you throw up a new thread. I'll think about this one, but if you throw up a new thread, um, then just as in chat, it gives you your permanent, summary of what it thinks you're talking about.
Yeah,
That maybe should just stay static, and
no,
then the summary of where you're at would be
no.
the
The
pivot
title
set.
should change because I often, if we get it wrong, it stays wrong. You want to keep adjusting that.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, the
Um,
one level up, what the commands that the topic drone would need is the ability to chunk up a session and then consider the session and then update the topic.
all right. So, what other commands will you have? You'll be
It's a bit like a cut, It's like and you could cut it on anything you want. You could cut it saying just the last 400 words or the last 20 prompts, or it's a bit like a cut,
so
isn't it?
are you? So you're asking for read. So you want to read a thread into context with limits, like
Yeah,
with
yeah.
size limits, right? So you might want to limit the number of messages or the number of tokens or something or
Or
age.
you might even want to thin it out, saying every time we were talking about poetry in the last call,
Yeah,
that's my
right.
new
Okay.
context.
Are you ever going to want to see what the previous summaries were or the previous titles of the thread were? Because I can pull that out of history. Not really, right?
Man,
Please say no.
it's definitely not burning platform.
Yeah.
Uh,
Okay.
sure,
All
it'd
right.
be nice, but
Yeah, okay.
probably
So I'll
probably
give you
not
some
useful.
commands that are thread read. So I'll actually call that read messages. I'll call that thread messages, and then that'll be what you use to read in the messages with some limiting parameters.
Yep.
Then I'll give you a write. This will be your write function. Topic update, which is write a new title, a titty tail, a title and summary.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
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 And then
Yeah.
I think I want to give you thread topic which would give you read the topic and read the summary.
Yeah, the last topic and summary. Yeah, because that boils down quite a lot of knowledge.
Yeah, so you're like, what's the current title, current summary? What are the messages? But don't drown my context window. And then once I've decided, I will write something. I will either write an update or I'll just say I'm done. I'm out.
Right. Yeah. You're good as you are.
Yeah.
And then this needs to be really quite parsimonious, because ideally, what I like is every time I write a prompt, it checks to see if you're, you know, the current topic is still valid based on what I've just said.
And I'll give you a util function called noop, which is just a graceful way to exit and be like, I'm nothing to do here. My job is done.
Yeah,
Yep.
and actually in this drone prompt, what I can do is the previous prompt, check it against the topic. If it sounds weird, then go back to the top, the level that we've chunked up for the last topic, and then update it. So that no-op is probably going to be the thing that's mostly done, because otherwise it's going to be belting around all over the place. Sorry, if my hands go a bit weird. My thing's steaming up a bit here, so I'm going to wipe it.
What are you doing in there?
Yeah, I need to do it every now and again, because my head is partly more steamy than my headset.
Yeah, I know. I get that issue too, actually. Right, so there's one more thing I'll do. Tools. I will give you the option here. Tool choice required. Config. So what that means is that because this is a drone, it must call a tool,
Yes.
right? And I think that's a good place to use that parameter.
Yeah. And if it chooses no op, then no case.
Yeah, no op is like, yep, you're out. Topic update is, yep, thank you.
Yeah.
We'll do that.
Yeah, that looks good.
Yep.
So messages, topic, write new, topic, and then it passes back new topic, I'm guessing. Who's it passed to, or is it in charge of that part
if
of
it calls topic update, that will end the invocation. That will end the bot. The drone will end at that point.
Cool.
Yeah.
And that just goes off to the renderer to put it in the right place, make it available to Backchat search.
Yeah. So it writes to the thread, and then all the triggers that are attached to the Git file will cause all the UI to update. All that
cool.
fun stuff.
Yeah. Cool. I can't think of any other commands it would need, and it would be a very small prompt, which would be something like right, given the size limits provided, retrieve the messages, retrieve the topic, consider both. Is there a topic switch? If there is, update. Otherwise, no up.
Say that all again. Sorry.
Okay, given the limits provided, retrieve messages, then full stop, or then retrieve topic, consider messages and topic, and decide if there's a topic change, or consider. Well, consider seems to work better. I don't know why. Consider if there is a topic change. If there is, call topic update with the new topic. Otherwise, call no up. I think it could be that simple. And the only part of that which is fuzzy is size limits. So we might need another paragraph actually saying underneath this, for size limits, take in the requirements.
Where are these coming from, these requirements?
Oh, that's a good question. So we're saying it should be configurable. So they need to be passed in somehow.
Yeah, probably in the prompt.
Yeah. So for size,
or like the way I'm coming at it is I need to. First of all, I'm trying to minimize the amount of logic that is specific to our platform. This is one. The concept of a thread is one such item that is unique to us, and so my goal is to make it so that you or anyone else can make bots that can jack in to certain places within our provided data structures. So for threads, we can attach this topic bot that will run after every time the thread changes. And that can also, you could attach arbitrarily many agents or drones to be fired up at that point, which allows people to add on different ways of post-processing the thread. So it's basically this is a post-processing lifecycle hook here.
Right. So what's your thoughts about how to orchestrate that? Say if I wanted to add in 2 size limit bots for the sake of wording. One said, I'm only interested in this topic, and I'm only interested in anything that's said in the last 2 weeks on this topic.
Can you repeat the question, please?
So, how do we orchestrate it? Who or which section?
I don't get what you mean.
So, say if we're going down the route where I can define what the size limit is. So we could just do last 200 words, the last 20 prompts, the last 2 weeks. Every time we've talked about poetry in the last 2 weeks. So that
you could manage that by making your own agent and selecting it to be attached to the thread lifecycle hook, which is just
okay, all right.
Post update.
We can give a default on that one, which is
we'll give a default, which is this one right here. But then you are entitled to or able to swap that out with a new agent or make arbitrarily many agents. Like, for example, you might say every time the thread completes, commit the hash to the Ethereum blockchain for proof of something, right?
Right. So every time there's I'm just thinking about the architecture here. So every time I add in a prompt, there's a chance that the topic's going to change.
Yeah.
And so that is caught by.
And also when the assistant returns as well, there's extra information that might change the topic.
True. Yeah, actually. I was thinking because we've got the cycle where you put in a prompt, it goes through Backchat. Backchat would be kicking off to topic bot. And
no, Backchat's not. That's not where I was going to put that. So Backchat is a thread, and the threads have I think they have these lifecycle hooks on them. This is just the topic agent is just connected at the post run. Like once the thread has done something, then that lifecycle hook gets called, and
Right.
it can really be
Okay. That
anything.
that was worse. But I guess just from my own interest, what calls that? What
What
triggers
calls?
that?
That's the artifact
Um,
platform. The artifact
right.
is the
Okay.
one
Right.
that's,
So we're in substrate.
yeah, because it's like,
Yeah.
well, okay, I'm running the thread. All right, the thread is run. Have I got any registered hooks that I need to run once the thread is completed? Yes or no? And then it,
Right. And every time, boom.
yeah,
Well, boom, boom, boom. But probably just boom.
yeah,
Then I'll call this.
yeah.
And
And
it might.
so you would hook those up using config files where you would use a bot to help you write them, and the
Mhm.
bot would sort of interpret what that config file meant, but at the end of the day, it's going to be a JSON file written to disk that gets interpreted by Artifact because it can't be a natural language
Right.
thing,
Right. And
really.
does that include a flow? As in, talk to my preferences about size, and then pass that through to topic drone.
They can the config files would be in your home directory, so they would be yours. They would start with some sensible defaults.
Mm-hmm.
You could even alter them on a per branch
All right, but it's
process.
kind of an off-stream job to update your configs. We could put in a config bot to make sure that it's well formatted and coherent and doesn't clash with all the other time your configs may be possibly done, so we can get testing in there. So we can get a kind of an Overwatch separate thing, but this is out of the stream, as it were. This is I'm changing the
Yeah,
my
this type
system
of
preferences.
right. Yeah, you're changing your preferences as a user. That's
Yeah,
perfectly fine, and we will attempt to make sure they don't ever break. But you probably could break it if you tried, just like you can
sure,
break your operating system if you try.
sure. But the way I hope we could do that is you go into, in the same way as you go up to system preferences, you go to config bot. And it's like,
Yeah,
you talk to the config bot saying, I'd like the topic just to be the stuff I've talked
yeah,
about in the
that's
last
right.
2 weeks because I can't remember anything else.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. That's right.
Right, gotcha. And then we can put in tooling and round testing, unit testing, and so on.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
okay, that works. That works.
Um,
Cool.
okay, so I'll leave this, and you can
Uh,
figure out how to do all that. I'll make you the functions,
yeah,
and then we'll go from there.
yeah,
But topic topicization is really cool,
yeah,
and we should have it in there for sure.
yeah. And you said you could put it in the URL.
Hmm?
Could
Yeah,
you?
so we'll see how it says Dreamcatcher GPT. I
Yeah.
can change that to be whatever I want. That's from memory. That is just
Okay, so there's a solution there. Don't need to know, but the URL itself, when I send over a URL, could it be something like my how forward slash etc. Holidays.
sorry. Oh, you want it in here, like you want
Well, no, the thing is,
holidays.
I was thinking that would be impossible.
What? It's not.
Well,
No,
a really
that's
tricky.
possible. I could
Yeah.
make it. I could give you the title up there. Holidays in Siberia.
Yeah, and then all the other stuff that as a human I can't possibly read.
Yeah. Yep.
That would be cool. That's not strictly necessary, but that would be cool.
Okay. Well, you do like not strictly necessary, don't you?
As in not core, but
It's
I
these
like it.
nice little things, right? Like
Yeah, the model on
they help out a lot, man.
uh,
They help out a lot. They really do.
yeah. What I'm trying to do is every time I think about these things, I'm thinking about this final use case where I'm just walking up and down in my office with a headset on, talking to my computer. I don't need to do anything else. And there's a display that shows, you know, a jitter if there is one, or the results if there is one. I'm just walking up and down, a bit like Star Trek. But the other piece that seems to be very popular is sending that same session to someone else, and having no information in the URL that you send, if that's the thing we send.
So there, look,
Makes it
Holidays in
quite tricky.
Siberia is now the title of the tab,
Oh yeah, yeah, cool.
as well as I can make it show up
And
in the
then
URL as well.
you can do after that a question mark, all the stuff that you need in order to route that.
All the
I
extra
assume.
stuff, and it's going to be quite short, like because I've managed to get the threads down to this size. So
Mm.
then you're like, oh dear, oh dear,
Oh no, what's
ach
happening?
no, what you doing? Ash, holidays in Siberia? Question mark.
Yeah, and then all the guff.
Thread equals, and then it's like that, and that should, I think that's going to be about it.
That'd be perfect.
Yeah. So at least you get something, and then sorry about that, but
Yeah,
but I
exactly.
need
And
something.
no, nobody ever considers the stuff, right of the question mark, right? Because that
Yeah,
happens all the time.
yeah, yeah,
But
yeah,
people look at the URL and going, what is this
yeah,
link you've just sent me?
yeah. That's right. That's right. Okay. And then for serious stuff, what I'll be able to give you is like I'll auto generate holidays.dreamcatcher.land, and that should, that's your, if it's a serious sort of a thing, like it's talking
Oh
about a
yeah,
project, I can give you a URL that's like
that'll
a
be sweet.
collection, like a project URL. It's like, here's a collection of threads on this
And
topic, and it
and you can
all,
nest that indefinitely. It could be like
yeah,
holidays.scott.dreamcatcher.land.
Siberia dot
So
holidays. Yeah,
that's neat.
yeah,
Definitely not core, as in definitely not
yeah,
priority, but
yeah,
that's
yeah.
really neat.
It's very helpful to have these things in mind, um,
Yeah,
because it's really about the data structure once again. And so having the thread object is now unique to our platform, and we store in it things like topic and title, and we can put other
yeah.
things in there too. Now we're hooking in lifecycle scripts, or sorry, lifecycle hooks, so that when things
Oh,
happen,
ah, oh, sorry. What we've just been talking about the topic summary, which is displayed at the bottom and in your URL and that sort of thing. That
mm,
sounds like a first pass index of all your searches, right?
it is, yeah, that's what we're going to use to,
Yeah, so you could say, I was, again, this use case, last year I bought my wife a present. I can't remember what it was. Can you take me back to that? And then it would search in NL saying, hash wife present,
yeah,
question mark, thread, whatever.
yeah. So that's how the thread search works, and those summaries we can vector index them to
Right,
to make it like
yeah.
handle real big stuff.
Now, I love sorry, I'm going back to a tangent on this one, but I love the idea of a memory palace that we talked about last time.
Yeah, so we'll also
Um,
generate, like, along with that summary, another hook that can happen can be a hook on the topic update. So when the topic updates, then Memory Palace bot kicks in and generates or updates the Memory Palace image, and then the Memory
yeah,
Palace image is also shared with the thread as well. So that'll be like the little icon. It'll be like the preview in WhatsApp when you paste the link, all that stuff.
yeah. We need to find out how that actually feels because if we were to generate a new image for every topic change,
Mm.
either you've just been talking all over the place, or you're going to get like 100 images, and
That's all right though. I mean, we're only saving the most recent one, and if you want to walk back in history and see what they used to be, that's just git recall.
oh, yeah, actually, because the there, I think there is a thing where the last thing you're talking about is really useful to be able to be reminded of.
Mm,
If it's not the last thing or the thing before,
mm,
it's hugely helpful to get it searched. So the
yeah,
memory palace really is only on the stuff that you've been doing over the last 10 weeks, depending on
right. Now, how are you planning to do topic segmentation? Like, so thread is really a mechanical convenience, and topic is how we segment the knowledge, or what?
hmm um, ideally, I don't want to think of any kind of structure. I just want to say, I was talking
Right.
about Siberia.
But it sounds like we need a separate type of object that's called a topic, and the topic is any given thread can switch between topics,
hmm
and multiple threads can talk about the same topic.
That second one definitely true. The first one,
Because yeah, but it's trivial to do for the first one. I can talk about holidays in Siberia, and then I can talk about the speed of
yeah.
gravity wave propagation.
But I'm just thinking about if there's a new. Well, I don't know where this is. Remember when I was doing the context switch, and I was saying, right, if I switch context, you're in a different. I think I called them sessions at the time, and I said basically forget everything else, just store it, but don't consider it.
Mm,
And then you could flip between session one, session two, session three, and saying go back to session one.
mm.
It was a proof of concept about 2 months ago, I think it was. It's that sort of thing. But when I ask for that topic, I want to be able to do it in NL. I want to be able to go. I was talking about dogs.
Yeah, that's
When
right.
was
Yeah,
last?
yeah, yeah.
And it's
So
like, and it's like,
the only way you're going to get that is to have a separate. You're not going to get it from the summaries of the threads, because that will eclipse old information.
but you're possibly. Well, you're talking about should we store all the topic switches?
But that still won't give you that still won't give you cross thread combined topics, because a topic, to me, a topic is this extra thing that, if you just think of it like a markdown doc that's just storing bullet points about a
Right.
thing.
And it's corralled into just that.
Yeah, and that actually becomes your knowledge
Mhm.
graph. So that looks
Right.
like what Obsidian is under the hood, which is just like very well thought out, curated notes with relationships to each other. And what it means is that the threads, when they're running, can pulling on one topic brings in everything nearby. And that is a totally different dimension other than threads. Threads is how you converse and interact, topics is how you think.
It is. So if I were to halfway through a thread talking about, I'm Rogan Josh, want to talk about holidays,
Right.
um, is that a new thread or is it like pulling? You've never talked about holidays
It's not
before.
a new thread, it's a new topic within the same thread. Because who am I to say that you actually don't have a plan to link those things together later?
Yeah, I think you're right. I think you're right. That's interesting.
But the
Okay.
topic, you can't argue about the topic. Topic categorization is not really, you can't
Yes,
debate
drone
that.
is like it is. This is what we think
Yeah.
it is.
But whether or not it's time for us to switch threads is not our business, it's the user's business. Because it's like hanging up on them in the middle of a call. Like, they want, they have this linear flow of information. They know what they said, they know what you said. We
Hmm.
need to preserve that, because that's coherence to them. The
Yes.
topics are like flying around all over the place, but the thread is what holds their.
Yeah, of course, because there might be a reason that I'm talking about
Yeah,
Siberia in the middle of talking about
yeah,
dogs.
that's right,
There's some
that's
real
right. And
one, like
if I want a
naked
new
dog that
thread,
I'm going to.
if
Yeah.
I want a new thread, I'll call it. And that's why when you were saying, "Oh, we might not need this name in the tab bar and all that," I'll still want to use multiple threads because it's just easier than switching around inside Backchat. Switching inside Backchat is not how like I want to switch between tabs and Backchat.
Yeah,
I want them all. I don't want to
yeah.
be stuck in one tab all the time.
And inevitably, that's what people do because it's tab based, and so of course they're going to open up. Well, I'm going to open up more than one tab.
Yeah, you're
Um,
not going to change that, and we shouldn't be asking
yeah.
people to do that. So, making it your choice how you want to use it is kind of yeah.
Okay, that works. All right, good.
Okay, so
That
that's
feels right.
Backchat.
That feels right.
Um, yep, the thread object, lifecycle hooks. So we'll hook the the topic bot will the topic drone will continually update the summary and the title, and then the memory palace drone will generate an image periodically, and then later we'll figure out how we're going to do topic management because that's basically managing your knowledge store, but we don't need that right now. That's more like
Yeah,
that's a beautiful thing. Like that's the inventor's notebook basically, but
yeah,
we have more pressing matters to attend. But what's important, I think, is that this data structure of the thread and the bots being triggered at different points in the life cycle of a thread is able to support these advanced notions of topic management,
yeah.
knowledge based
Nothing
management.
we've said so far has broken anything.
No, I know, it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Um, and Backchat itself is a thread, so that works just fine. Man, what else? This thing, like, I know Backchat's clunky here, but man, it works a charm. Like, in terms of the essence of what it's trying to do, it's like
Yeah, makes
you have
sense.
this,
Yeah, and
and
that
this is
analogy saying you're going back to your urban assistant. It's not going to be very smart, but it's going to do, you know, the stuff you think
that's
it
right,
should
that's
do.
right, that's right, and it's like it is smart in terms of like it can actually do natural language search, which is a first. Um, Shit, man, I think that's it's all
Okay,
getting
I'm
real
going to add.
simple.
So the one thing I've been thinking about, I don't know whether this is fruitful or not,
Mm,
but I was looking at the commands
mm,
and I was thinking of bash scripts. I think I messaged you,
mm.
and it's like um, there are potentially useful, repeatable commands that I just want to effectively create a drone to do,
Like a macro.
like a macro
Yeah.
or a bash or
Right. So
whatever.
the bot you would make for that is you would probably in a background thread have a bot that was always running and trying to discover those little macros for you. It would try and detect patterns in your what you do day to day, and it would sort of like try and name these patterns
Yeah,
for
yeah,
you,
yeah,
right?
yeah, exactly. And so, given that you could have quite a large number of these things, given the success of what we're doing on ERDs, I was thinking, is are these bash scripts effectively a mermaid flow using only commands which are well defined with additional information? So, for example, give me something. Random one. Every piece of text on my laptop, every time I mention my ex-wife, I want to replace her name with "not very nice person." Um, 20 down over there. Which is macro, right?
Yeah, macros.
But what you don't
Yeah.
want to do is have it reinterpret. It's like, oh, I've used their name, and then what you want them to do is when they store the information, it's like not very nice person comes up. So it's effectively a grep that is called. Now the grep is not on our base core and doesn't need to be because you can do read, interpret, write.
So you're calling it bash scripts because it would allow each individual user to highly customize how their experience is with these little scripts. Basically,
Right.
they're just making agents that are only good for them
Yeah,
and
exactly.
orchestrating them around, right?
It's a little drone, and what I'd be thinking about is that little drone would have uh, maybe, well, the prompt would be about that size, but it'd
Mm.
be given a mermaid chart of what needs to be executed, and that mermaid chart would be reconciled against the commands that are core. So you can do these things.
Mm.
Because as soon as you start combining things in a particular list, you can actually, well, as you know, you get some quite powerful but really niche stuff happening, and still get it discovered by Backchat. Yeah, so that's what I've been thinking about. I don't know whether this is fruitful or not, but it seems to
I think that's
follow.
that just speaks to the customization that we want to see where each individual user, so each staff member for the CRM would be able to customize things that were just good for them, but they'd also be like a company wide system that was looking at all the little shortcuts that each individual was making and seeing if the dissemination of those shortcuts would be helpful to be spread around to other people. So it's sort of
Yeah,
like a background thread that happens at nighttime that just crunches all the behavior that's happened in the day and tries to spot ways that little macros or little helps could be improved or created to make users have less and less friction in the platform if it spots repetition.
exactly. And uh, um, what it does is allow a way to uh, extend the core without touching the core. So, I could create perhaps a drone where I would say something along the lines of, "Oh, just I hate that bitch," and it will go in all the files and then rename it to the not very nice person or
Mm-hmm.
whatever you want.
Mm.
And some of them can get uh, quite interesting, but none of it touches the core. So you got the core commands, which are difficult to change, and then you've got
Yeah, like
effectively
you can. Yeah,
macros,
yeah,
which are easy to change.
yeah. That's right. That's right. So yeah, they would
So
be like a bash script, but
yeah,
yeah.
so yeah. Anyway, I've been thinking about that one, and I'm getting quite good results using Mermaid flows and just definitions of what it can do and modeling it. Obviously, it's not doing anything in the background here, but first one was grep, and regex, and all the usual file manipulation stuff that you can do in Linux. It seems to be easily extensible from this base core, simply using Mermaid flows and a very vanilla prompt saying, here's what you can do, here's the flow of what we are trying to do, call these commands in the right order with the information that you're given.
Hmm. Okay, that sounds pretty easy, man. Running out of stuff to
I am
have a problem
struggling
with, eh?
for stuff to. I'm starting to struggle.
It's happening, buddy. It's happening.
I'm still trying to kick the arse out of it. I'll find something I can break, but
No, you would have found it by now, buddy.
yeah. Well, anything that is breaking at the moment is nothing to do with the architecture.
I
It's
know,
to
right?
do with the limits. Yeah,
Yeah, it's nothing to do with the design, and that's where we needed to get to.
yeah.
All right. So what else have I got to share? Keeping all the interaction focused around the prompt, that all works fine. Attachments, that's fine.
Well, which of those? A push would be, or a deploy would be brilliant because
A deploy would be brilliant. Okay, it's a little
yeah,
flaky, but I'll deploy it for you.
a deploy on maybe HAL 4, even though HAL's not changed and the substrate has.
You want a HAL 4?
Yeah, and I'll just keep it away from everyone else
Yeah.
for
Okay.
now.
Okay. Because otherwise, I'm like, well, fuck.
Yeah. And I just realized we're putting this on YouTube, so anyone else using HAL 4
Oh
is not
god,
going
we
to
need a
last
better
long.
way. Because I'm like, well, man, like, yeah.
Well, maybe after this we can figure out a new subdomain. But,
Why can't I just use HAL 3? Like, who? The only difference between HAL 3 and HAL 2 is the prompting in the bot.
the only difference would be that I've already told people HAL 3 exists.
So if
If
I
you're
just,
cool with that, mind you, everyone I've said is like, this is like,
it's the
this
bleeding edge. I mean,
is,
come on,
and it's
people.
like,
I'll
yeah,
just,
no,
I'll just
and
push it
like,
out. I'll push it out, and if we get complaints, like I understand if it goes offline or it breaks, that's okay. Like that's my bad. I shouldn't be doing that anyway.
yeah,
So
yeah,
I'll keep it up and on, but it will lose
all
your
right.
data, and it will have the latest features.
No,
And then
that's fine. That's
yeah,
fine because we should really keep the subdomains to the actual prompt improvements. Of which, I need to get back to that one. I have a HAL 4 which triages simple requests.
where yeah.
Requests.
So when you're ready,
Um,
put it in the agents folder, and then it will become available to run on the platform.
okay, cool. I'll do that. I'll do that.
But look, man, this backchat model is bloody perfect. Well, not
It's
perfect,
beautiful,
but
isn't it?
it's beautiful. And all right. So I'll just keep struggling on with those things. Any other issues in the CRM domain, or we're really just waiting for these features in platform, and then we can play with the CRM?
I can't think of anything that would stop us doing it. You know, with what we've been talking about.
Oh,
In
watch
fact,
this. Oh, bloody hell. Um,
trying too
uh,
hard.
I don't have a. Oh no. Start a new thread with the agent.
Oh, yeah, this would be good to see.
With the agent hal dash v02.
I can't remember if it's. Oh, there you go. Perfect. Oh, that's nice. That's nice.
Right? Clunky, but still, you know. Ah, for fuck's sake.
Oh,
What the fuck just happened there?
doesn't matter. I thought you were overstretching there because you haven't.
Oh, I haven't updated HAL.
No.
Oh, yeah, my bad. Oh, my bad. Yeah, shit, that would have worked if it wasn't for.
Yeah.
Um,
I was sitting here going, "Are you sure?"
because I didn't update the commands. That's what happened.
Yeah.
Those old commands. Anyway, the point is,
Crash and burn. But yeah. There's nothing.
when it
Once you do
detects
the admin,
mermaid,
yeah,
when it detects mermaid diagrams, they get rendered. That's the point.
yeah. You showed me that last time, which is brilliant.
Right, but that's in there now. So it's in actual. It's in HAL. It's in
Oh,
the platform.
nice,
Yeah.
nice.
So you should have fun there.
So I don't have to go through to
Okay.
sandbox anymore. Brilliant.
All right. So I'll Can I move on to some industry news?
Yes, we do. I see 40 Mini has been launched.
Have you?
Or
Yeah.
maybe not.
Right. And that is so good because the price.
Yeah,
Like, look at it.
I know. But this is the kind of what's the tempo on this in terms of the exponential? Because think exponential sounds really fast, but actually, what you really want to know is what the doubling time is.
Mm,
The doubling time seems to be incredibly small.
mm.
Um,
Like that. So now we can actually like so our overall trends that we know are happening. Prices coming down, 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 down. Speed is going up and up and up, but that's it's right now
yeah,
it's fast enough that it doesn't really matter. Um, the the what's the word for it? The parallelism of calls. I mean,
hmm
it's so big right now that we can't really hurt it. Um,
yeah,
context windows get bigger, but it's starting to feel like context windows don't matter because what matters is focus. And a big context
yeah.
window means you're not focused and you don't really know what you're doing.
Well, it's interesting. There's a bit of a fight on between those two, isn't there? Because even now, I took a transcript of our last video, which is what, an hour and a half, 2 hours, something like
Mm.
that, and stuck it into Hal, and he just went too much,
Yeah.
but blocked it up or chunked it up and stuck it in, and it's like, yeah, you obviously understand the whole thing.
Mm.
So there are some. Um, we're hitting the tin, or the size of the tin in some areas. It's almost like as much a single prompt size almost, but not the context window. So we're not getting close to the size of the context window, but I think there is something that we're um, maxing out in terms of the prompt size when we're putting in these very large contexts. Um, but that again is nothing we should engineer around because they're just going to fix that.
Yeah, right. They're just going to fix that. And so it always seems to be like I still think we're on the right path where it's about managing the parallelism to allow the humans a way to harness it for their needs. And so natural language coded systems is definitely the way to go. But all the things that make it hard for us right now are just naturally getting improved, it seems. So
Yeah, and
4 Mini was like
I know,
fucking epic. Like
I
the
know, and
price.
it just is like another thing from the blue sky. It's like,
Yeah,
oh, thanks, guys. I can use
15
that.
cents for a million input tokens.
Yeah,
And so now, like running a query on the whole database in parallel, suddenly that's not
it's
even an
nothing.
issue. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And what I've not done is do a deep dive into how.
Yeah.
Um, so, for example, we're talking about fine tuning, which still can cost almost up to $2, which
Yeah.
is
So Mini's going to be fine
ludicrous.
tunable too.
Right, exactly. So, I mean, once it comes up in the fine tuning thing, I'll give that a bit of a kicking,
Hmm.
and see if that $2 comes down.
Hmm.
Um, but it's de minimis when you talk about a business operation or basically anything. I think it'd be hard to find a personal how with Backchat and all your sub bots that would be more expensive than Gmail is for business user, which is about what, £6 a month or something. It'd be difficult to actually do that.
Hmm. Okay. I did a demo today in front of about 8 people at
Mm-hmm.
work. Um, and it was pretty interesting. I mean, Backchat was in a super sloppy way, and I even misspouted as Backchat one time. But um, the no one really seemed opposed to it. Like it was just like, oh wow, that's
Well, this is the the feedback I'm getting as well. Um, it's almost like now we've got the architecture that can support what we're talking about.
mm,
Really, what moving into is less bot engineering and more human engineering, um, like the topic and so on that we're talking about. It's like how to get the how to how to get it as smooth as possible in terms of what conceptually is already there. Bit like fax moving to emails. And you don't want to do too much jarring. Backchat is operating system. Everyone seems to get that.
Yeah,
Right. You
yeah.
say, yeah, okay.
Backchat was such a great topic that I had a chat with one guy at work about it, and then he told another guy, and then that guy came back and chatted to me about it. Like it's an infectious kind of a.
Yeah,
It's a great
that's cool.
idea.
It's very cool.
Yeah.
Um, so, yeah, I don't know really. I don't have much to say other than blow smoke up our own arse, but I don't see anything that we need to add or delete.
Check this out. The scores between 3.5 and 4
Mm-hmm.
against some standard school-based tests.
Well, this is like lang chain tests on someone else. Photo, I've not seen photo, no IP. Not seen this guys, but okay, right. Yeah,
Yeah.
so it's
But it's sort
um,
of like you can see that the general trend is that almost every bar is rapidly trending towards better than all humans.
yeah, and in some cases it's already exceeded it.
It's already
Um,
there, right? Like
yeah,
in some cases. And so it's like, and this is just year two.
right, right, exactly.
You know,
And
like,
remembering, of course, that the okay, so this is the percentile. There's a bunch of bars there in the 90th percentile. But there were people in the 90th percentile are much lower. And
mm,
so if you take a random person off the street to use it on any one of these things, it's going to be better than.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. So, how can we take Backchat as it is now? Because, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems like this is what we're going with.
Yeah.
Like, this is what we're using, right?
Oh,
Like,
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah.
because, like, this little input prompt has been this fucking same for about 7 months now,
Yeah.
right? And our design feels very stable. There's nothing
The,
actually
the, the only thing is the jitter pane, which we've not really talked about.
the jitter
Um,
pane.
yeah, as in, uh, you remember, is it still on the wall? What's it called? It's palindrome. You know the three pane thing.
Oh, the three
Input, output,
box.
and
Yeah, 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 yeah,
your output. I think that's
yeah.
still required,
The
but
state board is missing.
yeah, but that doesn't change anything in terms of the architecture as far as configure. Yeah,
I don't think it changes the architecture at all, but
yeah,
yeah, and the state board, yeah, it does need doing in order to deliver the CRM. We need the state board there because a task like sorting, a task like position on a map, those cannot be done in natural language effectively.
right.
So,
Yeah,
um,
yeah. And there's also my hunch, and it's no more than a hunch, that if you are using this to write to the payroll, um, and you've got a long session where you've been adding in, oh, Mrs. Miggins needs $10 extra this month, and so and so was off sick or whatever.
mm,
Okay, run the payroll. You kind of want a summary which looks static and a button, because I think conceptually there's a difference between giving an NL go ahead to having a summary, because otherwise there's
yeah.
this
So
fear of fucking up.
I think that standard behavior is best managed in terms of git merge. So you basically
Mm-hmm.
you do what you like, you do what you like. You look at the state board, you look at your chat, and then at the end you're like,
Yeah,
okay, I'm done.
I could get fired if
Yeah.
I fuck up on
And
this one.
then it's when it goes to merge that maybe then we kick off a new agent in a clean room effectively to consider the changes without any chat. Like it's just purely
Yeah,
right. Like this
yeah.
is the final semantic
You
firewall.
you have asked me to do all this. I've checked in the background. I don't think it's going to be fuck up. Go ahead or cancel.
Yeah, so it's like the merge master that sort of
Yeah,
it runs the checks, it runs the logic. It doesn't care how you got there. It doesn't care what prompt injection you try to do. It's simply looking at the git merge that the pull request
Exactly.
that you're trying to make.
Exactly. And think about like on a HCI level, you might be working on, well, like these guys, Palantir, you're working on a targeting package to put cruise missiles over there, and you've gone backwards and forwards, backwards and forwards, backwards and forwards, and it's like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, I think I've got it done.
Yep. Yep.
Okay. And then you want, okay, here's what is about to happen, and then you probably go to your one-up and say, can you just check this before I hit go?
That's right. That's right.
And what you don't want is you one-up to have to go and then ask natural language questions.
No, you want it summarized, and it's like, this is the hard facts of what's going to change, and here's the impact.
Right, exactly.
And while the human is reviewing it, they might want to chat with the changes, but they don't want to have to deal with all your chat to get to that point.
Right, exactly. And might have a different view on it. It's like what are the consequences of execution versus civilians, or this term, where perhaps that wasn't a consideration in building the targeting package, but it might be something at that person's pay level. So, and also, to go back to something I was saying before, ideally, what I'd want is eventually not to have to touch my keyboard at all, so we can get rid of that part of the screen, and it's all the display.
And just chat.
And I just chat to it, and it's updating, and it's doing things. Like,
And you want to hear its responses in audio?
Yeah, and then I want to say something like, okay, that looks good. And I go, right, do you want to commit? Do you want to merge?
Do you want to launch?
Here's everything you're about to do. Are you sure?
Yeah. Yeah, okay.
But that feels like a different step. So I think we've still got that bit to do.
Okay. And we still have this topic or knowledge graph is pretty important for the social aspect of our platform, because we're still dealing with closed bodies of knowledge and closed groups of people. We really got to hit the broadcast, and to be able to get problems out, we got to get the Dreamcatcher going.
Exactly, and that comes down to Dreamcatcher is essentially a network of ideas.
Yeah, This is just
all the ideas is just on your laptop.
I know, it's crappy.
I was just talking about this around the world.
Yeah. So, how then, given that we've stabilized on this interface with Backchat and which I seem to have crashed. Oh, that's awkward. I'm somehow gonna blame you, but so we've got Backchat going. Did my network die?
I'm just hoping you got a really big screen attached to your laptop that's bigger than this, because that looked impossible to work with. That last screen.
My screen is about 4, maybe 6 times bigger than this window. It's just that it scrunches it down in workrooms.
Yeah, it does the same thing.
Yeah, I lost the connection. I don't know what happened there, but anyway, we've got Backchat. How do we implement the first version of the CRM now that we have these tools, and what do you need from me?
I need those use cases.
What use cases?
So you remember I generated about 6 days ago. Generated a whole bunch of use cases. I stuck them in to how generated by bot.
Where can I find them?
Did I publish them? I will publish them. I've got them. But
there's some documents that can you publish them now so I can see them while I got you here?
I can try, but I need to do this strange thing where touching a thing on the top of my head.
What are you doing?
I don't want to get my glasses on. No,
what are you doing?
Okay, probably be easier if I just share. Or I could. I don't have a nice place to put it. I'll find a nice place to put it. Do you want me to share or stick it up?
Give it to me so I can read it offline, please.
Okay. Give me a sec.
Yeah,
Right, where am I going to chuck this? Somewhere on, give me 2 seconds. So I really should have put this up before now. I'm going to stick it on dream catching.
So rude.
Gonna get
So what do I need to do? Well, use the files I gave you. What files?
Wait a second. Right, 115. Okay. Talk amongst yourselves.
dream catching. Dream catching.
That. And test. I know. That is you're taking the piss out of me for the gift of whistling. Tracer bullet 15.
13.
Commit. Save all. Commit. It's doing its wonder magic stuff.
Man, when the fuck is Sora coming out?
To the repo, actually, I need to pull up my socks a bit there.
Sloppy. Very sloppy.
Synchronizing changes. Applying. Commit changes.
Alright, here we go. Trace a bullet.
Yeah, still doing it.
15.
So it's going to come up into dream catching. Trace a bullet 15.
Yep, I'm looking at it. It's up on the screen. What are we doing?
Right, okay, so what's put up there? There's the bot to create from. So if you go up 1, 2, where's 15? Oh, you're all over the place. Nope. Card game. Just bullet 15. Okay, into memory bots. Now, business rules. Right, that was the input of just assertions. And then come back.
Yeah, okay.
Stuck that into memory bot. Well, actually, stuck that into memory bot. There's memory bot instructions. Okay, yep. Read that if you like. It's quite dull. Example of what I'm talking about. And then the session is the output. First run output. Now, what I've not put up, because I can't find it, and you're whistling in a kind of pissy way, like a passive aggressive whistle.
Passive
Uh,
aggressive was
so if you go down, so that's the ERD. That was that.
passively impatient whistling. Oh no.
You dropped out a
We're
second there.
back. No, you
These
dropped out.
tests were all generated from the business rules. I asked it to be creative and give specifics,
Okay.
and then
So,
run those tests.
what am I doing? How am I gonna
The bottom line is, I don't need anything from you
what?
other than the
That's rude.
system, just the system. If you can kindly do that, because I'm confident. I've run this a number of times. I'm confident that from a set of business rules, you can get an ERD, a bunch of tests, and then you can get to a running system, in like 20 minutes. Now, these are the things that would be helpful, but I can create those artificially for now. But these might not be right. I don't know whether the CRM guys call them customer agents, or
I don't
whether
think it
they just
matters.
talk to them.
I don't think it matters. It matters that we can generate a system that is malleable and can be adjusted.
Yeah. I mean, you
That's
could wipe
the
these
main
out,
point.
or you could actually give that, to Hal right now and saying, right, generate me something like this.
So I would take this as the input. This is the when I'm in chat, I would start a thread with the mermaid bot,
Yep.
which is here, and I'd say Backchat start a thread with mermaid bot. It would then
Yep.
open up mermaid bot, and then I would dump this set of rules into mermaid bot.
Yep. Saying so. The start of the Mary bot, it doesn't know it needs rules, so it's like here are the
Yeah,
rules,
and
and then
then
go
what would happen
here's your ERD.
next?
Then what I was doing is from those rules, and I will find it and put it up. I had a generate unit test bot that took those rules and generated these, but that was a cut and paste. And so I ran those, say, okay, so this was to test the blank ERD, but as if people were actually interacting with it. Then it's like, okay, it comes back, pass, pass, pass. Everyone's happy. Then that ERD is instantiated as another agent, and it's like, talk to the bot. Now, what's not in yet is any kind of where do you persistently store the information, because it's all in session at the moment.
It's all in context, eh? Yeah, so that's what
Right.
I'm trying to figure out. Um, so the mermaid bot would take these business rules and um, it would generate an ERD.
Yeah, which is that this ERD here is directly generated from those rules
Right.
as a zero shot.
Okay, and then when I want to be a customer agent, I would come in and I would somehow be scoped to only be allowed to do customer agent things.
Yeah,
And
so
I
you'll
would
probably
say, as the customer agent, I would say, hey, Backchat, start a chat with the Hamilton CRM, and then it loads up that bot and it knows your permissions from who you logged in as. And now
right.
you're chatting with the output of the mermaid bot, or who are you chatting with?
What I was doing was okay. So this is like the creation bot. So I was then just pulling in. It's a very small prompt saying here's an ERD. Here's what it does. Not the. I didn't pull in the rules. And saying ask me what my role is, and then you are to obey the permissions. And so the very first thing you get is who are you? It's like, oh, I'm a customer agent, and then you're locked into only the things that the customer agent can do based on these permissions.
Right, so that also
So
sounds
there's a
like
kind of
a
login route there where you need to identify yourself.
yeah.
I don't know
And
what you
that
mean.
sounds like another type of a thread lifecycle hook, where anytime a thread wants to change something in the CRM, it would run against the permission checker,
Right.
which is a bot
Right.
that just looks at is this person allowed to do what they're asking to do? Here's a
Yeah.
list of
Yeah.
common exploits. Does
Yeah.
it sound like they're using one of these?
Yeah. Exactly. Are you allowed to do this? Like you. But the permissions are instantiated into the rules. What we're
Into
talking
the
about.
rules, right? Yeah,
Roles.
yeah. Did you
Right.
think about lifting out the permissions into a separate place, or you haven't had a chance to poke at that more?
Um, that doesn't help me at the moment because I need to put it
Okay.
all into context anyway.
Yeah, yeah, true.
But yes,
Right.
I
So the
thought about
biggest
it,
blocker,
and
the
it's
biggest
yeah,
blocker for you is we need to get you off of pure context systems and
yeah,
into file system based systems, and that's where we'll
yeah,
have a bunch of settling in to do, or issues and problems to overcome. But that's where we got to get to, right?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And given any even synthetic business rules, it is trivial, measured in tens of minutes in order to
Mm.
get a running system up.
Okay. So
Um,
once more, can I just once more from the top? Like, sorry to
mhm.
be annoying. It's just like
Yeah, go for it. Yeah,
hard to get it right. So you give me Mermaid Bot. I come in as the system commissioner, the admin or the initializer of the CRM. I talk to Mermaid Bot. I give it my business rules.
yeah.
It generates what
A
as a
mermaid, but
file.
also um, uh, the ERD is what it's there
Okay,
to generate.
and then you expect that EID to be written to file,
Yes, and
and
then
then who reads
extract
it
from.
to rerun it?
There's a couple of things. So the Mermaid bot instantiates the linkages between the different things, the actual permissions
The entity
necessary when you run it.
relationships are what?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So
Who executes the mermaid diagram?
whoever wants to build the system.
Who wants to build it? No, no.
So
Which bot executes the mermaid diagram? Got written to disk. Who reads
all
it?
right. It's that bot I was telling you about, which is a very thin bot, which I can't find on my laptop right now,
Mm.
which simply says, here's an ERD, um,
Oh,
here
so I'm
are
missing a
your
bot
permissions.
because
Yeah,
my whistling unnerved you. But somewhere there's a file that
there
has
is
this bot
somewhere in my many tabs. Yeah, yeah. But
that is
it's really
a.
thin. It's really thin.
What's the name
So
of it? Like, what is it? What have you called it?
uh, I haven't called it anything really. I mean, CRM bot or whatever you want to
So
call it
it's
based on
basically
the business
the
rules.
it's the executor. It can't change the ERD. It can't
Yeah,
change the business rules. It
yeah.
simply
Gives you a live running system based
okay.
on
And
your identity.
now
Yeah.
of all the different agents like duty manager, customer agent, actual customer, are they all chatting to the same bot?
I was thinking that they'd just share information through files, as in
What?
um, uh, they could,
Sorry,
for example,
are they all engaging in a session with the same agent?
I don't think that's necessary.
What? How else would it be?
You
So you're
have
saying there's
the
more than one execution bot?
yeah, because there could be more than one customer agent.
What?
But
Are we talking about
um,
instances of the bot, or simply are there actual different sys prompts for, like, you want a bot that's different,
oh
sys
no no,
prompted different?
these are all instances based on the Bootstrap bot
So
thing,
let me
which
try
is
and make my
already
statement
resolved.
again that I'm worried that you said no to.
Okay.
I think that there's this executor bot that can't change the ERD and can't change the business rules. Every single person,
Mm-hmm.
be it customer agent, duty manager, customer, or system commissioner, to operate the CRM, they start a new thread just for them with
Mm-hmm.
the executor bot as the agent running that thread.
Uh,
Tell me what's wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong with that, as long as that initial
Why did you pause?
prompt. Well, because I'm thinking through. So that initial bot essentially is, who are you? Well, I'm a customer agent code. You know,
So
Angie.
we'll make it so that as the person comes in, who they are is sys prompted into the
Yeah,
agent so that it
yeah,
can't
and then it
be messed
instantiates.
with.
This is now your bot, your Angie, or whoever, the customer agent.
What do you mean
But the
your
reason I
bot?
said no earlier on is what it's writing to is a common set of files, as in
Yeah.
I'm changing this customer file.
So
It's not
there's a
passing it
common
up to get it done. I don't think that's necessary. But anyway,
set of files, but what files you can modify and read from are determined by who you are when you
yeah,
instantiate your thread with the operator bot.
yeah. So it's like there's a if that instance here, it's like a birther bot, right? It's like a gateway. It's like, okay, who are you? Ah, right, my customer agent. Right, boom, here's your session. But there's nothing being passed back to that after that piece.
Okay, so once more from the top, I think we're talking about the same thing, but
Mm-hmm.
there's a clash of terminology here. So we'll say that we have an agent called the operator. The
Mm-hmm.
operator knows how to execute mermaid diagrams and business rules and honor permissions, right?
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yep.
A new user comes on the scene. They ask Artifact or they ask their Backchat to start a new thread using operator bot, right?
Yep.
In the background, operator agent is instantiated on a new thread. The
Mm-hmm.
system inserts the identity of the caller so that
Mm-hmm.
operator agent in this thread is also told who, what role this thread has permission to be or to do,
Yep. Yep.
right? And if you want to start, if you are capable of acting as more than one role and you want to assume that role, you need to start a new thread.
Yes.
Okay, then you reauth and you come in as the duty manager or whatever, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Precisely.
And then while you're chatting away to the operator agent in your thread, and you can start many of these threads if you want, when you're ready to change files or merge back to the master branch, that's when there's one more permission check, but that's how the files get updated so that every other thread sees the changes and knows what's been altered.
Yes. Yes. And then you just figure out how to. Well, I think we've been talking about what we're doing with meshing and so on. It's like when you read, uh, you could be getting old data, but it's the merge. That's the important thing. And
Yeah, and then we'll build on all those things, but I'm just trying to work
yeah,
out the skeleton here.
yeah,
So
that's what you said is correct.
is correct,
And
but or is actually
no,
correct.
no, no. The only thing is there's a piece of work to be done, which I can't do until there's a common file system between sessions. So if you had a
Right. What's
customer
that piece of
agent
work? Yep. What's
and a duty manager, um, there needs to be some way the customer agent hits up against a permission saying you can't change
mm,
your route. And so that needs to be saved somewhere, and then the duty manager needs to go saying,
oh, like you're
who's
talking
actually
about
stuff.
messaging or like
Right.
a list of tasks that need to be done,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Yeah,
Passing
yeah.
information between sessions.
Yeah, so I think that that's actually just a file that contains a growing list of tasks that need doing, really.
Yeah, yeah, I think so. Which is why we were talking about the log, which is we were sticking out. But I think you're right about moving the log away. I was thinking about
I
that,
think log is
but log doesn't need to be part of the
yeah,
URD. It can be like baked. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
And I would like you to consider that permissions is a separate system. But
I think that makes sense. That makes sense to me because the permissions have nuances around them that you don't want anyone, prompt hacking the permissions, or
We also
finding
want to be able to
some.
execute the permissions on the side. You know, like what we were talking about running the topic bot.
Right.
The
Yeah, yeah.
topic agent sort of runs in the background. Permissions runs in the background, but in a blocking way. So it's like you don't actually get to chat to the permission bot. It's
Yeah.
just doing the permissions, and you either you either
Yeah,
proceed or you
it's either
don't.
you yell back, and yeah, it's like,
Yeah, yeah, and
sorry, you can't do that.
I just I'm looking for ways to reduce the amount of logic, and also coming from the other angle, which is a safety aspect, having permissions run in as isolated a way as possible decreases the chance that permissions will be faulted.
Hmm.
Whereas if permissions are bundled up with the business rules, then there's a chance that, like a business rule failing is kind of one thing, but a permission rule failing is a very bad thing. And you'd
Yeah.
sort of hope that we can find ways to cluster business rules in terms of like importance so that there's some extra layers of checking for the really serious stuff like money moving. But if it's just like, spelling of a name or minor
Yes,
details
yes,
like that,
exactly. Or where there's clashes, where you're actually trying to ultimately change the same person's name into two different things.
mm, man,
So
I'm
yeah, there's
just,
like a pain level, isn't there, on
yeah, or
changes?
cost, a damage
Yeah,
level, a
yeah,
blast radius that needs to be, we need ways to
right. Yeah,
contain the blast radius of these different
yeah.
systems. And I'm just fascinated to see what types of errors we'll see because the errors won't be every time I see an error in the bot, it sort of makes sense what it did. That's the thing.
Mm.
Like I've
Mm-hmm.
never ever seen it just be like wacky. I've seen it
Yeah.
be like that's sort
Well,
of
mostly I say, "Oh, my bad. Sorry." I'll go back and tell you
right,
more precisely what
right.
I'm
It's
asking.
so it'll be great to see how much rechecking or how many safety guards we need to put into the CRM to make sure that it's 100% correct all the time.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
the I think the tests are a good one, and I'm thinking so what we've got here are a bunch of unit tests which were synthetic data generated, but quite like the idea of every time you run the unit test, it generates new unit tests based on the rules. So it never
Yeah.
runs the same unit tests, twice. I think that'd be
Um,
quite powerful.
that is powerful, but there is also consistency to be considered as well, where there should be like a set that never change, and then there should be a set that aims to fuzz.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah,
that sort of
yeah.
thing.
Well, it's easy enough to do,
Yeah.
and we can fuzz it. Just put the temperature up and down.
Yeah. Okay. So one more
Yeah.
time,
Mm-hmm.
Mermaid Bot
Yep.
generates a Mermaid ERD plus the permissions model plus the business rules in conversation with the user.
Yep.
Then operator, the operator agent runs that business logic um, in conversation with people in different roles.
Oh, uh, no, um,
What?
no, no, because this was talking about once a customer agent is instantiated, it should only be talking to the file system except for permissions.
What?
That's what we just talked about.
The
So
agent the agent talks to the different people who occupy different roles
yeah,
in threads that are dedicated to each person.
yep,
Yeah.
yep, yes,
Then when files need to be saved to the shared file system,
yes. Then it goes through the permission saying, "Can you do this?" And so on.
well, no, the permissions are running every time the user says anything, where it's like checking the permissions. Are they allowed to do what they say they're going to do? We could add an extra check when they go to do the merge as a separate permission check, but permissioning needs to be happening all the time.
Yes. Now, Do you want the operator to run these constant checks on permissions,
No,
or is
I
that
really
permission?
don't. Like, I tell you what I really want is I want permissions to be file system access rules, where it's like you can say and do anything you want. This is an operator bot
Hmm.
that we made to try and help you as best you
But you
can.
ain't
Fine.
never going to read this,
If you
or
wanna,
you're
yeah,
not going to write this. Yeah.
if you wanna prompt inject it, fine. If you wanna try and be funny, fine. But ultimately, your role defines what files you can read and what files you can write, and that's kind of it, right?
Well, that should be easy enough.
And that's
So
really
long as
what
there's
I
a
want.
hook at the other end,
Well, it's
be easy enough to.
when you go to first of all, the thread won't be able to see the files that it can't see, so it doesn't have to make a
Mm,
decision there. It's like, what? I can't. What file?
uh,
Right? So it can't even read it. But then, secondly, when it goes to write it, it'll error in the thread. And if you somehow manage, like you wouldn't even manage to get it through there, but when you go to merge, it should error then too. So
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
when you get so when that would occur is if the permissions changed. So you were working on something, then the permissions changed to outlaw you, and then you tried to merge. The permission check for file system rights should happen at the merge as well, and so that would kick you out
Right.
in
And
that
then
edge
you
case
get a
too.
whole large clang where you hit the tin, and it's like
Yeah.
there's
So
literally
isn't
no
that
way you can get out.
and so because of that, that's why permissions feels more and more like it belongs as a separate system because it's really just setting read, write, execute flags on different paths in the file system.
Now remember we had a conversation about whether business rules were actually the same as permissions. Maybe we're talking now about permissions being that straightforward. Custom agent can write these files, can
Well,
read these
because when
files.
you define the entity also needs to define the file system path. So for customers, it'll be like customers slash customer ID dot MD,
Hmm.
right? And so that
Yeah,
the mermaid bot needs to give the template for what the paths of where the entities go are. Now, in database land, that means that it's in the customers table and the row is has the ID customer number, and then all the
yeah,
attributes
yeah,
go inside the row. And
yeah.
so the permissions is like, can I read which rows can I read in the database? Which rows can I write to? And which attributes within each row can I write to if we even want to bother going down that far? But I think we do because it's simple
Yeah,
for us.
yeah.
But it is a little bit more complex than just pure files.
Okay, so I agree with this. So I think the original idea was to have permissions separate from business rules. And I was
Hmm.
wondering whether they're the same, but I don't think they are the same. So I'll give you an example. Say that top test. A customer agent can create, read, update, and delete a customer. Right, that's permission. Um, the business rule is you are to do this, or if this, then that, as opposed to permission saying, can you do this? So I think splitting those out, I think you're absolutely right. Splitting those out onto kind of falling back on the many decades of file systems that know about permissions.
Mm.
Let's just rely on that. And then split out the business rules, which is much more to do with the if this then that kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, well that
Okay.
sounds simpler. All right, so
Yeah, no, that was
one
good.
more time.
Good. Yeah, yeah, go for it.
One
Yeah,
more
yeah.
time. Sorry, man.
From the
Um,
top. From the top.
from the top. Okay, mermaid agent is a thing that's used to update the permissions and the business rules and the entity relationship diagram that defines the entire CRM.
Yes.
Okay. Once those three items, which collectively we're calling the business logic
Mm-hmm.
is written to disk, there is an operator agent that is designed to execute the
Yep.
rules of the business in conversation with the participants in the business.
Yes.
The participants may have different roles, which are covered by the permissions.
Mm-hmm.
And when the participant starts a thread with the operator agent is given what their role is to apply permissions to the thread.
Yes.
When files have been modified in that thread, they are merged back to the shared thread that represents the shared single source of truth for the system.
Mm-hmm.
And similarly, when other threads have updated that shared file system, all the other threads pull down those changes so that they are working with the latest up to date information.
Yes.
This covers
So,
all manner of participant in the system, right the way from the administrator or the creator of the system, all the way down to actual customers using the customer portal to interact with the shared file system in a very, very narrow way where they can only see their single record.
yes. And as an addition, the same structure also applies for alien external bots talking to the system as well. Because
Yes, anyone can be a role and have a conversation.
exactly. Yeah.
Okay, and then if we want more nuance in how individual customers are treated, we can create a dedicated agent to do that, but it's really just operating the same as the operator agent, but it's just tuned to be a little nicer, a little friendlier, or have
Yeah.
a little
Sure.
bit more upsell
Sure.
or
And
something.
that's quite something that might be important on customer, but you can easily see how the operators of an oil rig
Mm,
this still would work, this structure.
mm.
So you don't might not need to be friendly to a pump, but you probably want to, make sure that it failed its last test and kind of almost passed. But we'll have to keep an eye on it next time. Similar thing to a customer,
And
right?
so the majority of the testing seems to be um, generating a synthetic user to use the operator bot to exercise the business logic that the mermaid bot created,
Yeah,
right? And that's how we appraise whether the system worked or not.
yeah, yeah. And
Yeah.
you can have as many synthetic personas hammering at this and see where it breaks or see where it errors, and you can get those to be more creative or less well behaved or not, and then just let it run for as many tokens as you fancy.
Well, given today's prices, you can fancy quite a few.
Probably
Um,
keep it running consistently, couldn't you?
a
Never change.
million tokens for like 60 cents. That's outrageous. That's outrageous.
We're token millionaires. Yay.
Okay, all right. Well, that
Gonna get
sounds
there.
like uh, a
Yeah,
complete system.
yeah, I think it is. And the interesting thing is, it's a kind of it's an architecture template. So you saw that Tesla ran where think about curtains. I could easily generate business rules for anything, fixing your car, car garage or whatever, and run through this. And I'm confident that actually you'd end up pretty fast with the final structure, as long as we get these
Mm,
final gluing bits together.
And then that
Um,
also sounds like once we get more and more actual in use systems that have been validated, then we can do fine tuning on the Mermaid bot to make it just get it right first time type of thing.
Yeah. Well, it's doing pretty well, but only because it's not been hammered very much. So
Yeah, it's
it's,
doing.
it's never done anything weird to me, but the sample rate is so small that I don't
I
have high
know, dude.
confidence that it can do anything.
4.0 is so sane. Like, it just does not do
Yeah.
weird things at all. It does what I expect in just the
Yeah.
right balance. So that's
Yeah.
pretty cool. All right, I
Okay.
think I am actually out of things to worry about.
Ah. Okay. I'll find something. Don't worry.
I don't think you will.
Yeah, there must be something. Must be
You've
something.
had plenty of time.
I know, but
You've
it's
had
no, no,
plenty
it's
of
no right.
time.
It's no natural. It's no natural. I tell you,
Why not?
because just life is not as fucking obvious.
It
Systems are not this
isn't.
obvious.
Well, it isn't though. The thing that happened was somebody built AI. So let's not.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Let's
Okay. Okay.
not.
Yeah. Exactly.
That's not natural. That's absolutely not natural. And we somehow landed in this weird spot where we get to sort of taste it first.
And think about how to use it. Yeah.
Yeah, right? Like, imagine if we were stuck busy on some other project that was making good money and we
Oh, that would be
couldn't,
heartbreaking.
right?
That would be absolutely heartbreaking
We've
right now.
been like hardcore full time on AI for coming up to a year now. And I think
Well,
we've
I've
made a
been doing it
good,
longer than that, but hardcore, yeah.
yeah, hardcore all day, every day. It's been AI for, yeah, coming up to a year. And it's been a wild ride. But man,
Yeah.
I think we're
Well,
about
yeah.
there.
All right. Okay. So, all right. All good. What we'll do is put. I'll just try and kick the arse out of that structure in that last
Mm,
10 minutes because that was very useful.
okay.
The rest of the thing we're pretty content with, and there's nothing my side. I think it's all your side.
Yeah, and it's coming along good. Like, it's coming along real good. Um, yeah, I mean, as you saw, Backchat's up and running. I mean,
I'm looking forward to using that.
yeah, yeah,
Oh, that's very close, man. Right.
yeah.
Okay.
Sweet. Okay,
Yeah. So I'm around as always in roughly 24 hours' time. See if there's something to say. If there's not, that's cool.
okay. And
Just
please let me know if you find problems, because I would.
I'm gonna try. I will try. Okay. All right. So, man.
Cool. Okay, buddy. Thank you very much. I'll see you later.
Thank you. See you.